My name is John. I'm 24 years old, and since I was 7, I've always loved video games. My now late mother had gotten me started with an old ColecoVision, and from there it snowballed to Sega Genesis, Nintendo 64, PlayStation, etc. As I got older, other things caught my attention. Around 18, I really got into creepypasta. I checked it out because my friend said it explained some stuff about the Pokemon games that I loved as a kid. I still love the games, even into adulthood. Well, until recently. About 6 months ago, I was watching a creepypasta explaining how your rival's Rattacate in red and blue dies when you fight it on the SSN, a cruise ship in the game. It's speculated that you hurt your rival's Rattacate in the battle with him, and in the commotion on the ship, he couldn't make it to a Pokemon Center in time. I don't know why this struck me so hard, but I felt bad for Blue. He only had that Rattata as a starting Pokemon, and the starter he obviously got at the beginning. So it was literally the first Pokemon he ever caught. I decided to come up with a way to actually save his Pokemon. It's a stupid idea for a 24-year-old, I know, but doing gimmick runs like this always interested me, and since I already had a GBA Game Shark, it would be easy enough. My plan was foolproof. I'd play through the game normally until the SSN, and then pop in the Game Shark before my rival battle. I would turn on the Capture Trainer Pokemon code, catch Blue's Rattacate, and thus it wouldn't be killed, and I could just pretend Blue really was looking for a Cubone in the Pokemon Tower. I went out and bought a copy of Fire Red. GameStop didn't have one though, so I had to go to a flea market. Yes, I know every creepypasta starts with some dupe going to a flea market and getting a haunted game cartridge and freaking out, but I checked the cartridge and it was legit. It had the serial number on the cartridge and everything. Though, what had happened afterwards, I'm starting to think it was a hacked game and someone really was messing with me. I loaded up the game, and for the purposes of this run, I picked the girl character, naming her Leaf. I didn't want to go with the boy and name him Red, because I would have felt guilty putting that kind of shame on Red. After all, he's going to meet gold on the top of a mountain in a few years. I think he's had enough on his plate. Also, I decided to pick a Charmander, and name it Miki, after another creepypasta I read with a character named Steven. After resetting 15 times, I finally got my female Charmander. I didn't want to use a Game Shark because I wanted to do this legit. The only code I was going to use was going to be on the SSN. The game went uneventful all the way through to the SSN, and I had a team of 4, saving a slot for Vaporeon and Blue's Rattacate. I had an HM Slave too, but poor Paris was going to be dumped the moment I got an Eevee, so my team was Miki, who was level 23 and really living up to her namesake. Seriously, she took apart Brock all on her own. I was impressed. My Nidorino, level 26, with Water Pulse, since I love Nidoking's multitasking abilities. Beedrill, named Buzzsting. I seriously wish I learned earlier that Brick Break could be learned by a Beedrill. I would have raised more of them. And finally, Pikachu. Name details. I named him after my name on YouTube since I couldn't think of a better name. Simple as that. All over, my team was a bit unbalanced, but because of Nidorino, I was pretty sure I would be able to beat the game. I moved through the SSN quickly and saved before the area where Blue would jump me for the 4th time now. I plugged in my Game Shark. Before I booted it up, I remember saying something along the lines of, "Blue, I'm going to save your Pokemon from a terrible fate. Please forgive me." Yeah, I'm a puss, but considering I was about to steal the first Pokemon he ever caught, I figured it needed to be said. I loaded up the game with the codes and challenged Blue. I wiped out his team until I got to Rattacate. I weakened it to a state of low HP, I selected a Pokeball, and I threw it. Don't be a thief. Blue knocked my Pokeball away as I blinked. I chalked this up to me not turning on the code or something, so I reset. I double-checked the code, made sure it was the right one, turned it on, tried again. Blue gave me more trouble this time. His AI seemed to know that I was going to pull something. Still, I got down to Rattacate. I tossed a Great Ball. Don't be a thief. The hell? I was getting frustrated. And at this point, I had given up on not hacking the game. So I hacked myself 99 Master Balls, turned off all opponents' moves, and I rapidly turned on and off the catch opponent's Pokemon code in a bit of frustration. Then I made sure it was turned on, and I started the game again. Now, this time Blue obviously couldn't fight back, but his sprite seemed sad somehow. Like he was going to lose a very valuable friend. I ignored it still. I went and took out his team, one by one, each one crying out as I took it down, like they normally did. Then I got to Rattacate. Threw a Master Ball, no shakes, no resistance, just click. The battle ended, which was weird because I could have sworn he still had Squirtle left. And that sad sprite just stood looking at me. Rattacate, no! Leaf, I never took you for a thieving type. It went back to the overworld, and Blue kept talking. Leaf, what's wrong with you? How could you steal my Pokemon? You're gonna regret this. He walked off like usual, but his theme didn't play. Just silence. I put my DS down on my bed for a sec. I had an overwhelming feeling of guilt, but confusion took away at my first attention. Even if I was cheating to steal his Pokemon, the game shouldn't have new dialogue or anything. Still, this got me kind of excited too. This was just like the creepypastas I was reading all the time. Then a thought occurred to me as the silence still left the room quite quiet. Anytime someone in a creepypasta gets in some demonic game or something, they go insane or try to kill their family or all that jazz. I sat there for a sec pondering whether I should shut off my game and play normally or dive down the rabbit hole more and see how this played out. I decided to look at my Pokemon. Miki and the others were fine, just like before. Then I scrolled to Rattacate. The game hadn't given me the option to name him, and he was just named Rattacate. But the summary was kind of weird. It had a depressed nature, and its habits were, is resentful. Other than that, it was a normal Rattacate. I closed the Pokemon menu and went to get my cut HM from the captain, and then left the ship. It took off, and I saved figuring I could just restart if something goes wrong. I headed back to town. The game was normal, no problem with anything. I figured I'd just keep playing, and when I got to Lavender Town, I saved outside the tower. Rattacate hadn't listened to me up in this point. Every time I tried to command it to do a move, text would show up just saying, Rattacate stares at you in resent. I walked in to the tower. To my surprise, Blue wasn't there. Odd, but nothing else seemed out of place, so whatever. I backed out and went to the Rocket Hideout in Celadon. But something was off. When I battled through the hideout, at the end of each battle they would say things like, Heh, you're such a hypocrite. Or, we're all thieves, why can't we get along? This continued all through the hideout. Even Giovanni, the final Team Rocket boss, said, You will make a fine rocket someday. I must admit, this new plot was getting kind of interesting. Being the bad guy in the Pokemon brought me back to Pokemon Coliseum. Taking other trainers' Pokemon, even if they were Shadow Pokemon, it was still kind of an iffy role to play. I went to get my TM bag, and I had picked up TM for frustration. Since Rattacate resented me, I decided to teach it to him. Maybe it'd do more damage, I figured. Rattacate bites your hand. Kick Rattacate? Yes or no? A book dropped in my room and I jumped. Yeah, no, I didn't save you to beat you, I said. I'm not part of PETA or any animals' right activist of any kind, but straight up animal abuse still sickens me. I hit no and said no aloud as if to emphasize my point. Are you sure? Yes or no? I growled at my game. Yes, I'm sure. Leave Rattacate alone, you stupid text box. I rubbed my forehead, realizing I'm talking to my DS and how stupid I must look. I hit yes. Come on, it'll be fun. Yes or no? I was starting to get a tickle on the back of my neck, like someone was there. For some reason, I felt like someone was looking down on me, with an overwhelming feeling of someone being disappointed in me. I hit no. Rattacate went back in its Pokeball. Rattacate did not learn frustration. I sighed and continued the game. The whole scene left a bad taste in my mouth. And that tight feeling of someone looming over me had me a bit freaked out. I looked behind me a few times, half expecting to see a gory corpse of Blue or something. But I didn't, thankfully. If I did, I would have probably shit myself for sure. I went through the Team Rocket subplot of Lavender Town and the Silphico building. My rival conveniently absent again. This unnerved me. It made me sense that Blue wouldn't be at the tower since... It made sense that Blue wouldn't be at the tower since Pokemon wasn't dead. It was stolen. But why hasn't he come after me yet? I at least expected him to jump out at me at the usual places and give me a harsh lecture, or at least ask for Rattacate back. No reason to keep it now that it was safe from dying. I beat Giovanni and decided to make a trek back to Palatown, the hometown and starting point of the game, with you and your rival. I talked to Blue's sister first. Big brother hasn't come home in a long time. I'm worried about him. Okay, that's not good, I thought to myself. I went to see Oak next. My grandson went missing. He hasn't even updated his Pokedex. If you see him, tell him his grandfather is worried. What my mom said in the game hurt the most. Blue has been missing for quite some time. Honey, you seem sad. Are you okay? Yes or no? My mom in real life had passed away recently, and I didn't want to worry Leaf's mom any more than I actually was. So I hit yes. Okay, come talk to me if you need to. I checked the Leaf's trainer card, an impulse I get from watching so many creepypastas. She was sad. Her smile was gone, replaced with a guilty frown, as I was feeling the same way. I saved and shut the game off. I had work in the morning, and I needed to sleep. I had a dream of Blue tossing himself off the SSN, sinking into the ocean. I watched him fall into the propeller at the back of the ship, Squirtle trying to pull him free, but getting caught in the blades and torn to bits along with Blue. The sea below turned red as I went off and my character sprite walked away from the ship. All Blue's other Pokemon, still in their Pokeballs, sank into the sea, their cries echoing from them and fading. Then Raticate's cries started playing louder and louder. It was hurting my ears. I woke up crying and I grabbed my DS. I gotta find him. I played all day and called out from work. I talked to every person. I checked the area. I kept Rattacate at full health at all times. I was driven. I beat Giovanni at his gym. where he chuckled at me after the battle using a sound effect of one of the Pokemon moves sped up or something. I finally got to Victory Road and beat every trainer. I stocked up on all the healing items. I could charge in. As I charged in, Lorielli was the first. You steal his Pokemon and now you want forgiveness? You sicken me. I plowed through with Miki and details. I didn't have time for lectures. Next was Bruno. You're a disgrace. You don't deserve your Pokemon. You've shamed them. Fuck off, I yelled at my screen as I took him down. With Nidoking, Agatha was next. Hooligan, you won't get redemption. Only my punishment. Out of my way, hag. I was really hysteric, screaming at my DS. Buzzscreen barely made it through, but none of my Pokemon had fainted. I was scared they would die like in the creepypastas if I let them. Lance didn't say a thing. He just rushed at me, and the battle began. My Vaporeon, who I'd got and taught Ice Beam and Blizzard, took him out fairly easily. I was sweating as the Pokemon battle continued. I switched Rattacate to the front of my party. I figured that if Blue saw Rattacate and saw that he was okay, he might actually forgive me and just take Rattacate back. It was a stupid idea, but I just had to do it. Upon walking into the room, Professor Oak was there. Leaf, I'm glad you made it. You are now the league champion. But I regret to inform you, Blue, my grandson, he committed suicide on the SSN. Shortly after he saw you, he jumped overboard. He was killed by the propeller and his Pokemon all drowned. I'm sorry, I know you were close friends with my grandson. Leaf, you never turned away from the path of good. You're the new league champion. No, not like this. I wanted to help him. Why? I was crying, then I heard Raticate's call on screen. The text underneath him said, Rattacate has died of a broken heart. You killed him. Fuck! I threw my DS down, as hard as I could, crying. I remember falling from my bed and Blue's disfigured face from my dream reaching out at me. I was scared shitless. I kicked up, thinking this can't be real. I ran into the kitchen and grabbed a knife. No one followed and I looked at my wrist. I saw a text box appear in my glasses. Commit suicide? Yes or no? I threw it all in my glasses. No! I yelled over and over till the neighbors called the hospital. I was kept in the psych ward for 2 weeks. Blue watched me. I told the doctors what had happened, minus the hallucinations I was having. They figured the game just freaked me out, and they let me go eventually. I don't play Pokemon anymore. I can't. Every time I start a new game, I feel guilty. I threw my Game Shark out, but I still have that Fire Red. I'm looking at it right now. Commit suicide? Yes or no?